at your door, black mail delivery.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy TALLSHON. TS is who I am.
Tre-Dot is who I am.
And this is episode 89 of the Black Male Podcast. Hope y'all enjoy episode 88. We on 89. Once again, we are not going to make it to 100 this year, but we will at the top of the year. Because this is the last pod for the year, and we ending the year off with a guest. We got Kool Kim here. What's going on, my brother?
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim, aka NY, all in the building, representing UMCs. And I am here at the Black Male Podcast, finally.
That's what's up, man.
My day has come. Let's do it, fellas. Let's go, man. Go back now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Top of the year, Trey, I had a board together. We can throw in our sound effects because we got, you know what I mean? I want to push the button on this one. We got to get our elbows on this one.
Little hand claps and all that.
Yo, so man, we got a show set up for you guys. We got a lot going on. We got a few things that's going on, but we're gonna start in sports first. Let's start in sports first. Let's start with Jackson State losing to NCCU.
Final game too, huh?
Yeah, it was the final game of the Coach Prime era. It was a damn good game, actually. It was shockingly. I didn't expect that game to be as good as it was. It was high scoring. It was a high scoring game. All the way to the end.
I'm gonna keep it a deck. Let me just say right now, I ain't see the game. All I saw was the opening, his locker room speech. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front. I've been too caught up in the controversy of it. It's been where I've been at with it more than watching their gameplay. You know what I'm saying? So
I understand.
Let me ask you this. Myself being a New York native, let me ask you this.
Yes.
To see if we're on the same page with this. What did you really know about HBCUs growing up in New York and fraternities and sororities and all of that? Because I knew nothing at all until I went to college in the South. I never heard of it.
Y'all don't really have any. Y'all don't really have any.
No, I'm just making sure.
Not true?
No, it's not true.
There is a culture. A lot of us just don't know about it. I didn't know nothing.
Well, you got to keep in mind that most northern New York people's experience with HBCUs are generally as a result of going to college in the South.
Right. Yeah, that's how I came with it. Yeah.
And so then cats come home with college culture, and that's how the general populace gets exposed to the Greek culture and even alumni culture. A lot of stuff that is generally foreign to Black Americans until they have the experience. Of course, for many people have the experience, they a first-time person having it in their family, or what I'm saying, or maybe it's just one or two people before them. So it's not like it's this entrenched culture in people's communities. It's more along the lines of it's almost like thank God, but it's an invasive culture now that's kind of more people are going. So we're having more people used to it.
But like I stated, y'all don't have any HBCUs in New York. None. The closest one is Liberty. And that's in Pennsylvania.
There's one in Pennsylvania.
Lincoln University, and that's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
so I can understand. Like, I'm from Detroit. I don't remember no HBCUs. I used to stay near Detroit University. You know what I'm saying? So I remember Detroit University. When I moved down south to South Carolina, that's when I was introduced to HBCUs. Because when I played ball, a couple of them, came to see me play. You know what I mean? Granted, I went to a PWI. I went all the way to Florida and went to Florida State. But because I didn't hear nothing good about HBCUs. I'm keeping a band. Back in the day, it was like, and this is gonna sound bad, if your grades were shit, you kind of went there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
that's why I went.
I listen, Cass was going to HBCUs for the girls because
I hung out at one. I hung out at one every day.
You know what I'm saying? The hood type of thing. It was like still the hood. It was still the community. It was it wasn't cost prohibitive. Because
no, it wasn't at all.
Because it was culturally still, congruent. So Cass didn't have to worry about a great degree of alienation. You know what I'm saying? Which a lot of people ain't want to speak that to their truth, like they ain't, but some Cass was like, yo, I don't want to go to school in a PWI. I want to go to school in HBCU because I want to feel safe in terms of being in a culturally consistent environment. But at the same token, when we talk about HBCUs and we start talking about whether or not they, like, when we start talking about, I think a lot of us just go right into like how they ain't all that or something like that, or how they mismanage funds or they misappropriate funds or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
especially when we talk about it in light of Deion Sanders, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, son, you know, this is a great opportunity for the HBCUs to reorganize.
Hell
You know
yeah.
to start sourcing some
Agree
real
with that.
dope talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get some real talent. I'm not talking about
But
athletic talent.
alums also have to pitch in.
Well, I'm gonna say let me say before that, because most
Mhm.
discussions are based on not on the direction of an issue, but it's the order of operation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Well, I think that it has to start with the school, because you know any decisions that are going to happen through the administration has to happen from the administration and the whatever board of advisors it has. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it has to start from the top down from their side, where they start developing and start looking at, you know, future proof in the colleges by, you know, really looking at getting people that can look at futurists, that can look at, yo, this is where things are going, not just tech wise, economy wise, trade and barter wise. These things are important, because if they had somebody that had that sort of mentality in the discussions with Deion to begin with, they could have built in mechanisms, you understand, and developed different opportunities to monetize his presence in such a manner that it would not have put him in a precarious position.
Oh, so we talking about Deion. So you pretty much talking about Deion.
I'm talking about Deion, but I think that when we talk going, like, look, we'll use Deion as the litmus, because he's the issue. He's not the issue. They're the issue, but he's the person we can look at. And the reason why we can look at Deion, because we can see the fail. Like, so now we have you're looking for success.
Did it fail? Did it fail?
Big time. You know what I'm saying? It did fail because
he left?
No. It had nothing to do with Deion failing. It has to do with the HBCUs. And that's why I'm saying that it's important that from the top down, they have to develop systems and infrastructure that can support having the support that Deion came. Deion ran a route for them.
Yes,
he ran a hell of a route for them.
Yes,
you understand what I'm saying? Problem was, whoever was the quarterback was just watching him run the route. And and was thinking like maybe if he ran a route, that somehow or another that was going to open up the 3-hole.
Right. But sad part is they was also stealing from the route as he was producing the route. That's the sad part.
His O-line was trying to steal a pass type of thing. Like, it was like, yo, why are y'all doing this? This is a man that's coming in the city. Everybody's going to make a lot of money. I don't care if you the dumbest hustler. You should know that more people's coming to town because Boy was in town. And that means more people going to want cop. And that means this money is going to fall, like, you know. So there's he's got to, the word on the street got to be, son, like, leave Boy alone. This man got declining health. That man brought his 2 kids. That means he leveraged their future as well.
Bought more than his 2 kids. He bought his whole family. 2 kids to play. His daughter played. His other son was filming everything, doing everything behind the scenes. This nigga brought his whole family and his lady. His old lady worked at the school.
And turned around and was willing to take only less than half of what he was worth.
Exactly.
In that situation. And they still ain't pay him, stole from him. And now, to me, the community slandering the boy brother name.
That's what we do.
And the fact
that they misinformed though. They highly misinformed.
Yeah, because ain't nobody asking the basic questions like, before I got anything to say about brother, what was the deal points here?
Right. But do we do that?
No.
You know do we do that though? We quick to react.
Because you know what? Because people want to converse before they want to think, because they don't want to miss their turn to talk.
Yep.
Most definitely. I like that.
I think also when it comes to HBCUs, when we look at HBCUs, and Trey and I spoke about this, we create, you know, PWIs is all about academia. We create the better pieces of business. Like if you go to FAMU always used to have, FAMU had the best business program, best engineering program, and the best pharmaceutical program, to a point where Florida State was sending students to go to there, to go school there to actually learn. Where it got to a point where they end up losing their accreditation, where Florida State had to end up taking it over. They did that shit on purpose though, because they knew they had the better programs there.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? We all skill positions, and that's what we told. Skill positions like engineering, like pharmaceutical,
all of them.
Like business. We excel in. The problem is our back end business, like you were saying, never is on point. It's like we always seem to drop the ball on back end business versus they always prepare for back end business. They just don't. They skill positions are trash. They not really good.
What you got to keep in mind is that so it's been a tradition of misinformation.
Facts.
There's been a tradition of creating gateways through forms. Remember years ago you had to sign a form, you had to fill out forms in triplicate.
Yep.
Remember as you do that? Those are things that they did to make it difficult to, you know, it even goes back to those slave, I mean, not slave, but the voter questions they should do. They make you ask a bunch of nonsensical questions. Can you knock down this wall? Like how they do nowadays, a joke that they do in the Greeks thing when they're hazing you. But, you know, it's stuff that they used to really do when you try to go to vote. Yep. Ask you a bunch of, they make you take 100 question tests to see if you were smart enough to vote. You know what I mean? These are things that have long and always been obstacles to African Americans in establishing the financial and business infrastructure, and then also just ecosystems that we have needed. You know, when we have to do that through American systems, it's fraught with pitfalls to slow up your progress.
Right.
So, you know, when we talk about the back end, and I'm going to speak as a business owner who I owned a bar for 2 years here in Augusta, Georgia, Paul, and the back end kicked my ass because I just had no insight on that. A lot of us are coming into business with no legacy, and meaning that we don't have a legacy of family and business. We don't got a rich uncle. We don't got any sort of support. We got just a great idea, great degree of motivation, and the tradition of pulling ourselves up by a bootstraps and not having bootstraps. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
You heard? And so while I'm doing these things, I opened a bar. I'm not even an alcohol drinker, fellas. Like that's like, this is how crazy this is. Like, this is how bold I was. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna open a bar. And my wife owned a boutique, and right next to the boutique, the bar that was there was empty. So I was like, yo, somebody was trying to buy it, and I was like, nah, I don't want them to have it. And we just had got this settlement, so I had a couple of dollars. I was looking good. That was my investment, a settlement. My assessment, my investment money was, you know, just enough money to do the work. In fact, it was so not enough money to do the work that I had to open the bar without a liquor license. So I had to start the bar off as a non-alcoholic bar. You know how hard my hustle had to be to work a non-alcoholic bar in Augusta, Georgia, where ain't nobody never heard of nothing like this nonsense. And somehow another man of hustle and flow that joint to the point that we did get our liquor license money up, did get the liquor license, and we was rocking and rolling. But let me say this, as a result of that, and I'll try to keep it brief, but this is some ill thing that I'm going to say that it just comes from an experience. There's this thing that I learned about business, especially when you're in this paradigm that many of us are, where we don't have legacy, we don't have access to angel investors or even that line of insight or relationships, or, you know what I mean, to be able to access anything like that. You know what I'm saying? We may have the know-how, but we have a know-how about a particular part of a thing. But again, we don't have this supplemental knowledge of like what it means to be a, you know, your accounting and your handling your taxes and, you know, doing your bookkeeping. Things are no joke. That, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
You know, and so all of that. Yeah, you know, and then what ends up happening is you go through, I call the jerking phase. So then most black businesses and most small businesses that don't have any sort of real support, they got to jerk. Like, yo, I got to kind of jerk y'all, man. Like, you know, and because you got, and jerking phase is, I'm going to charge too much. I'm going to underpay my workers. I'm going to overwork my workers. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to buy inferior products.
But we don't learn tax code. We don't understand there's so many different things out there that could get us bread.
But we don't know how to
jerk our employees
so
first.
We got to jerk the people close to us, but for lack of knowledge, you know what I mean? And a lot of it is, and like for me, when I was in that situation, God bless me because my brother Salim, you know what I'm saying? He was rocking with me. And so it wasn't a jerk season. It was, yo, hold me down season. We gonna hold each other down season. I got, when we up, I got you, hold me up so I could get this going. So I was blessed. That was where I was able to circumvent the jerk season. I was in the jerking season. But I was able to do it because I walked into it coming from the nation of God's and earth science, equality, understanding that, yo, I gotta deal with people in equality. Like I'm not dealing with subordinates. It's my man's. He got a family in the house. I gotta come up with a plan that takes care of us both. We're gonna both eat. you know, we gonna both eat bread and butter while we come up. You know what I'm saying? And then like I'm not gonna be all right. We gonna both struggle together and get there. And that's what we did. But you know, it's those obstacles are enough to winnow away a great deal of the amount of people. And so when we talk about these HBCUs, even now, and you're like, yo, you're a college, ain't there anybody taking any business courses to be able to, it's still like you have this really solid barrier of people that are behind the times in terms of the mechanisms and the means and ways to effectively protect that financial ecosystem.
I totally agree. I'm definitely with that. I mean, I think I'm one thing I can say about HBCUs is this. I'm glad now that this generation is seeing the power in it. Is a lot more kids are going. You know, our generation, a lot of us went because, like Trey said, we either had to, but a lot of us didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? As I didn't want to. I had plenty of times I just did not want to go.
May I ask, how old are you, Paul? May I ask?
I'm 42.
Okay, so there is a distinct. Trey, how about you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm 51.
Okay, so me and you in the same thing, because I vehemently disagree with that.
Okay.
LaShawn. And the reason why, Paul, is because well, for me and Trey, tell me if you agree, because I might be tripping. You know what I'm saying? We was right about college age, right at the cusp of college when Cosby Show was out.
True.
And A Different World was out.
Your guys were.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to the thought.
Yeah, and then we
of
had
that kind of thing. Yeah,
we had School Days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the introduction.
We had this ill deluge of media that supported the concept of going to a HBCU. So for us, it wasn't like, yo, like we didn't have a poor impression of it in that time. In fact, the culture had been so promoted, which I thought was smart, you know what I mean? And with in no small part due to Spike Lee and Bill Cosby. That people was like, yo, I'm with it. Like, I want to go there. I want to be with the gamified gamma, and I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do what I seen on TV. And so for us in that time, the college, the HBCU, what do you say? Enrollment had drastically increased.
Now, but look at that. So we just broke down the age background. Y'all are literally about 10 years apart. Yeah. And that dramatically changed in my era. Yeah. Dramatically changed.
Well, two things can be correct. Well, like you said, the eras, it was a shift. And that era, a lot of things were promoted as far as blackness and us uplifting each other. And around the time he was born and coming up, it you know what I'm saying? It changed.
Now, I'm going to tell you.
Hip hop and everything, the direction changed.
This is when it's
interesting. So we all can talk about the same things and understand the same things. Right. That's just because he's a mature individual. But that age gap, everything changed. You know what I'm saying? It's just everything. Lyrical content, the movie content, because once they saw us kind of getting together a little bit, if they can profit off of it, it was fine. But if they can't profit off of it and we're uplifting each other, that's not fine.
No, not at all.
That's not fine for them at all.
You talking the old language right now, Trey.
Because it was different. It was different right now, Trey. It was different for us back then.
Come on, man. You saying the word now. Us,
man.
Come on.
Yeah, it was different for us back then. It was lovely. It was lovely, man.
Fam, that's why I was asking, because I wanted to delineate.
I know where you're going.
If our perceptions were changed as a result of when we look at that just from the chronology of the situation. It's like, yo, 10 years later, because if you look at any place 10 years later, there's going to be a market change generally.
But look how much change. That's past market change.
Well, check it out. I think that Trey opened up the lane for the actual discussion where that comes in, because at that time, you have this market increase. You got rap groups like UMCs, leaders of the new school. Right. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got artists that are like making all of this music that is consistent, congruent, and conducive to that exact type of movement.
Early Tribe Call, all those. Yep. No, you're right.
Now,
all
around that time.
Yeah, it was lovely. And everybody had their own style and flavor of delivering a message.
Now track me on this. Now, around that time, if you recall, somewhere out of nowhere, all of that creative hip hop, all of those artists that was making that kind of music, that had the nerve to have a good time in their music, it started getting marketed as happy rap. Yeah. Anything intelligent, abstract, creative, different, you know what I'm saying, that pushed the barrier a little bit, started getting marginalized as soft, sellout, and happy rap.
Then gangster rap.
And then what happened was it was the no sellout, gangster rap, keep it rugged, keep it raw. And then what that did was that enabled the next, that enabled the, because they first tried to PE and their counter that they created to offset what PE was doing was NWA. You understand what I'm saying? But when you start talking about the deluge of artists that were so innovative, and then what black men have a tendency to do is self-parent when we were in a community. So when we lack black fathers in the community, we start to father each other. You understand what I'm saying? Where we start making different, like, yo, God, you know, like that's where some of our natural predications and traditions come from, where we take care of each other, we give each other right knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And we be raising each other. I grew up in the community, or maybe like there was like, if there was 100 kids, there was 10 fathers. So there was 90 of us was learning from each other, you know, arguing with each other, coming home with whatever knowledge we got from wherever we got it and running it on each other. So each one of us would have good knowledge. And that's what we were doing musically as well. You know what I mean? You will, it's all throughout the lyrics. You hearing cats giving a bit of what they know based on their experience, and it's congruent with the lifestyle people was living in. You know, sometimes if you listen to the music now at 51, you can hear it much clearer than you did as a kid because we was all younger. You know what I mean? But when you hear it now, you like, yo, wow, listen to what they was saying. And I'm going to tell you that I don't even think that they intended to say. I think, you know, I'm not get too deep in it, but I have a firm belief that talent is a result of a higher power. And I think that a lot of that stuff was revolutionary stuff was coming to them on high. And I think that those that would not like to see that kind of stuff permeate the society made a concerted effort to undercut it. And they began by devaluing it in its own culture.
But then we can go, you know what I mean, even around that time as that type of music, because I'm a hip hop head. So a lot of that shaped me as I was coming up as a young man. And but then you got to think about, I grew up dead in the middle of the crack 80s. Dad was a hustler selling dope. And you can tell as even with that, as that became more prevalent, and I grew up in Detroit. That shit was hell-bent in Detroit. You know what I mean? Damn near everyone was a crackhead. And as that was happening, you saw a lot of fathers either get locked up or were killed around that time. So those dad influences was dying out. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of young boys like me that was running around, and you probably saw your dad probably 3 years because he was in and out of jail. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of my era people, you know what I'm saying, where I had to be a grown-up before it was time for me to be a grown-up. You know what I mean? I'm holding family down at 10. And then we moved to the South, and I'm seeing all the shenanigans in the South and whatnot. So I definitely agree.
And now you're the president of an HBCU trying to manage the back end. And you got a bunch of people employed with you with the same story. Because it was the story you telling.
Great tie-in.
You understand?
Great tie-in.
Yeah. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And when we look at it in that context, we got to remember that our low points and our high points are no lower and no higher than every other man's, right? And so It's like, yo, fam, we out here all in the same boat, you know what I'm saying, and having the same experience. And so we are finding ourselves in the seats of power that aren't ours. You understand what I'm saying? They're not the seats of power that we would build for ourselves. I mean, I don't really see that like that. I don't see it because the way we get down in general, not conducive to this. You know, we community, not capitalism. Right. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is I think a lot of times we try and rally around capitalism, but we ain't. That's where we get confused. You know what I'm saying? I just think that we have to be patient with each other, and right now we have to do the work of nurturing what we have. Like, you know, for me to be on you know, the Black Male Podcast right now is that to me, because I see the work that you guys are doing. I think it's great. You know what I mean? I don't know how much value my name can bring to show, you know, going forward. But if it brings a little bit, maybe, you know, you might be like, oh, we caught a D-lister, now we can catch us a C-lister, maybe a B or an A, you know what I mean? However,
well, to me, not to cut you off, to me, it's deeper than that, because dialogue is medicinal.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And these conversations are currency. The issue is we don't have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like when we got into this podcast thing, it got to the point of, like I brought up to my brother, and we say it all the time, we make the uncomfortable conversations comfortable. Because a lot of us have these uncomfortable conversations inside, and we don't know how to bring this dialogue to the table, whether we fear, you know, confrontation, or whether we fear disagreement, or we fear looking like a sucker in times of inferiority, or times where we feel weak, which is not even weak. What makes you weak is keeping it inside. What makes you strong is putting it out there and building with your brother and overcoming those situations. And that's what my brother and I have been focused on. And that's the lonely road. That's the long road. Because everybody wants to be microwavable entertained. Yep. Everybody wants to hear the foolishness, and we don't do that.
No,
so
not at all.
Road. So whether it's a E-list, D-list, or A-list, that really doesn't matter. What we care about is just content.
Yeah.
People need quality content. You know what I'm saying? All that buffoonery, somebody else can give them that.
Yeah.
As men, we need content.
Yeah.
That's why we don't.
And what we delivering now is good content in process. Like right now, it's cooking. I smell it cooking. I don't know what's in the kitchen, but it's cooking. It smells good. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it smells good. I don't know what it is. But it smells good in the kitchen.
That's why we don't talk about like the salacious things, the Tory Lanez and all these people. Like we leave that to the kids. We let them have that. We let them other podcasts. You generate your numbers based on that. We're gonna talk about some things that's way more conducive to how we live in today. You know what I'm saying? Right. Granted, this particular topic wasn't supposed to go this direction, but it went this direction because it was supposed to go this direction.
It's the nature of discussion.
You know what I mean? Yep. This is the conversation me and this guy have all the time.
I say that to say that, you know, and let me just be clear, not to infer that I'm a D-list artist, you know what I'm saying? But because I am. That's who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm in me. I'm that's what I am. I'm the main character as far as I know. You know what I mean? But you know what it is to say that we should support each other, even if we have to be a part of the building blocks.
Right. He'll be back in a minute. His internet must have went out with the thing.
Yeah. But you know, we should support each other, even if it means that in doing so, we are just allowing ourselves to be like, you know, them cats when they do that thing where they running up a wall. So the first cats that get to the wall, they just kind of hunch over the next group, climb up on them, and until by the time that somebody actually gets to the top, it's only one person.
Yep. It is.
Like, you know, can you imagine this, like the selflessness of that act in concept? Because it's like there's somebody all the way at the bottom that no one's gonna even know dude's name.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? But that person's unwavering strength is going to facilitate them to make it to the top.
Yeah.
And so we should respect the levels and be happy for the levels, regardless of what they are. Yeah. Right.
I agree. There we go. You're back.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's move to the next topic, man. I'm gonna switch. We're gonna play this video, man, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Let me see which one. I'll play this one first. We'll get everybody's thoughts on this. I have two videos to play. We're gonna play this one first. Leave the last one last.
Leave the last one for last. Okay.
Yeah,
that's how it go, right? Okay.
Yeah, we gotta leave the last one for last.
they've been switching it up lately, but yeah, generally that's how they go.
Yep, pretty much. You know, we live in a world where everything is changing left and right.
Yeah, I couldn't let that one.
I always tell my male friends, because I'm the type, I'm not with the sisterhood shit. I don't got no sisters. I'm not with the sisterhood. I believe in taking accountability. A woman who can run game is way worse than a man, because when women do shit, oftentimes there's no accountability, and there's no. I wish
I'd have found the full version of that clip, because I felt like they cut it right when she was really cooking.
She was going to say something. That's why she was going to say something.
She was cooking.
Yeah, she got some masculine energy. She was going to say something.
But but she's right with accountability. I think I do there isn't any accountability for women, and I've noticed that throughout just 42 years on this planet and dealing with women for at least 30 of them 42 years. That shit, this the whole 42 years, because I go to my mother. There's no accountability in most things that they do. And I mean, dealing just even dating, and even I'm married man. Sometimes I don't even hold my wife accountable for some of the shit she does. I just roll that shit off and be like, it is what it is. That's
then them not holding themselves accountable, according to what you're saying, is part of our fault.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, but I have to say it again and put it out there. A lot of it is our fault, because as long as we getting what we want from a woman and keep peace in the house, a lot of times we be like, or they do that thing, you know, all women got that thing. Yep. They do that thing, we kind of forget, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing shuts me up, you know what I mean? It does.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh man.
And it'll shut me up again.
Really? Oh man.
Every time. Every fucking time.
Man. Come on, man. I gotta send y'all to my course, man. We gotta get y'all. I gotta bring y'all to toughen y'all brothers up now. Hold on now. Come on now.
Okay.
You know I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Let me say this. You know what, man? You know I'm getting mad. Besides, this new thing been coming over me lately, fellas. I don't know if y'all hip to it, but yo, this new thing, man. Been feeling really good. And I'm gonna put y'all on to it because not a lot of people seem to know about it. But yo, ever since my doctor prescribed minding my motherfucking business, a lot of these issues have not been a problem. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's important.
I agree.
Not as a dismissive statement, because like you know, you say that and like, oh, come on, we trying to talk about the topic. Though it's like, no, copy. This is the topic, right? Mind my business. You don't want to come a married man. My wife loves me. She respect me. She a hard-headed, all this other stuff, like every other human is, right? Yep. Like every other human is, because I done ran into dudes and went, oh, everybody got these same traits. You know what I mean? But that's my human. Yeah. And then I figured out how to work it out with her. You heard? The way I want to work it out. Because this is my quality of man. That's how I'm giving it up. You heard? Right. I'm a man's man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a good nation man. I'm a good time man. I'm a man's man. No, I want what I want, how I want it. And I know how to reciprocate with my wife in such a fashion that the loving on each other is right and exact. And it ain't inequitable. Yo, I'm not even trying to jack what these little TikTok girls is talking about, because that's what that is. Oh, yeah. You heard? And it's like, yo, these little people, what they doing is what, Trey, let me ask you, might know what I'm talking about. You might know too, LaShawn Wise. You ever be on a bus, right? Back in the day or any point in the bus, right? On the bus, yeah. Right? And you know, little man is on a bus with his other little man crew, and they talking wild loud because they want everybody to know their little philosophy on life. Most definitely. They little ish they know. Cause you know, cause this is good. The woman ain't good. They be like, yo, son, man, shut up. You don't want to say nothing because you ain't trying to have no problem with these little knuckleheads. But you looking at them like, yo, son, you don't have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. No idea. Oh,
yeah. They be going off. They be going off hard.
That's all that. They have no idea what they talking about. A grown woman is living this life that's going to be that you talking about your wife. That woman know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? And she know what time it is in the context of you. And cats need to just and let these little knuckle brains sink into the mire of what they got to sink into so they could come out of it in time. But I'm not even trying to tap into they nonsense because it's childish. Like they immature. So their whole build is useless. When I'm talking about people accountability, when I live in a country that don't hold accountability. The American country has taught people, this country, this government, this nation, this society, this civilization has taught people to be unaccountable. Right. This country never take ownership for what it's done to the very citizens it profits off of in the form of taxes. So, and to do that, they've had to educate us, socialize us to the idea that I can do whatever I want to you. You have to control yourself in the face of it and kind of deal with it in a nice way. Nah, fam. So you're already looking at a pervasive sickness that's like, fam, if you got any good sense, you got to stay a million miles away from that shit. Like, yo, son, oh, word? That's what y'all talking about? My man. Once you bet to y'all. My wife love me, cat. I'll call her now in front of y'all and she'll bring me something to eat. And not because she my slave, but because if she call me right now, I stop this interview right now and go do what she need me to do. Straight like that. Because that's my best friend. and we treat each other like that,
bro.
And these other cats is
that's the
talking shit. They don't know nothing about no marriage.
That's a lot of the things that we talk about as well. Because I'm the same way.
Right,
my wife shot me a text just a few minutes ago as my son walked in, and she just yanked him back as the door was opening. You know what I mean? It's just
holding you down.
She was like, "I got him. Don't worry." and
it's
like,
I mean? Yo, that's
and Trey,
people.
no, that's our third member of the podcast who always comes in this
coming to hold you down. I'm trying to tell you, that's my this is my new that my wife is my partner. She's my ride partner. She picked my beats, help me, because you know what? That's that, and you know what? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like let that what we talking about poor people problems. You know what I'm saying? Poor you that you think that this is how it is.
Right. I think this generation overanalyzes everything, and that's also something that we talk about. They don't be in a relationship long enough to even understand that it's give and take. There's highs and lows. They bail out as soon as shit gets a little rough. You know what I mean?
I just think they opine. They're not analyzing. If they were analyzing,
I think they overanalyze. I think they overanalyze.
If they were overanalyzing, this wouldn't be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
They're opining.
Mm-hmm.
These are all opinions and conjecture.
Right.
It's not based on anything. And they have this sense of because when you're younger, you tend to have simple answers to complex issues. They're not respecting what they're seeing when they see the adults around them to recognize what they're looking at. They think that they know more than us.
They definitely.
But which part of what you're saying requires limited thinking?
What do you mean?
Everything you said requires thinking. That's more than a microwavable 60 seconds.
Right.
They're not doing that.
Right.
They're not doing that.
Right.
They're not doing that.
Right.
You're saying everything that's the inverse relationship to a microwavable society.
But that's
I'm not knocking what you're saying because I agree with you on it. I just had to stop right there. So put that in context. Everything you're saying is against this microwavable society.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I'm tracking. That's her. Like I can't even say nothing else. I'm just like
definitely a microwavable society.
Yeah, and all the other stuff y'all talking about are being adult men in relationships with adult females.
Yes.
That's the small percentage of what's going on. Most of us, not even to say most of us, a lot of us grow up and we mature. Some of us just grow old.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a separation, a huge separation within that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like you can speak about a relationship, and TS can speak about him being married and all of that. And I'm not married, but I can speak on it. Some people, that shit you talk about is foreign. A woman that cares about you and that you care about, that shit is foreign.
Yeah.
They still work all week and wait till the weekend to figure out what's popular.
Well,
that's every weekend rotation.
We got to talk about it like it's normal because, I mean, like every time I talk to everybody,
it is normal though. It is normal.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
The rest of them niggas ain't normal.
Every time I'm vibing with cats, everybody I'm talking to cats married. They talking about how much they love their wife, or we carrying on. Like my wife was. It's rare when I'm like it's a rare set of friends of mine that are not in similar situations. But what it is that what? Well, see this. And tell me if y'all feel me on this. What I think it is that what they say, a lie travel around the world before the truth is lace up his boots.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And funny enough, you know what I'm saying? Look. My shit saying mine ain't laced up either. You understand what I'm saying? But I got this truth though. When the truth is,
I don't lace no boots up, bro.
Yeah. That's right.
You never supposed to lace those up.
That's why.
I'm glad. Even though you in Georgia, I'm glad you got the right Timbs on. Because if you'd have put up some bullshit butters, I'd have ended you off this damn podcast.
You'd have
got off. You know what I mean? You do not wear no fucking. If you'd have came in here with the creamsicles on,
them caramel apple ones they just came out with.
Out of here.
The glossy ones, the glossy caramel apples.
Or if he'd have had the butt naked,
the candy apple joint.
You was a disrespectful creature with the butt naked.
What's going on, man?
Out of here.
Nah, my joints is solid, yo. I came on solid. All right. And I gave it second thought too, and I put them all. Like, these right. Yeah, these good ones.
Yeah, you gotta make sure.
These ain't my work ones. These are my real ones, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know, sir.
I stepped into the danger zone just there trying to make a point.
Boy.
Oh,
You almost got up out of here. I was ready to click the button. Trey,
He was on it.
If them shits was butt naked or glossy, I'm like, yo,
nah,
Kool Kim is out of here, guys. He's violating man code with the bullshit Tim's on.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
He violating all types of codes.
Nah,
This
he's bugging.
Nah.
This is the holiday season, ladies. Don't buy your kids none of them bullshit Timbs, ladies. We know it's the holiday season. Men, if I see you with some bullshits on, I will point them out. If you my friend, just know I'm gonna be on you. I'll be on you.
Yo, you know the funny thing is, yo, cats would really kill me if they had a chance though. Cause yo, B, I don't be caring, son. Like I'll put on whatever, son. Like that's one thing. Like if I'm getting fly, you know, of course.
Yeah, get fly.
We're gonna be fly. You understand? But
it's a different shoe for every occasion.
You remember when Levi's had these joints? They came out with a like a exact replica of it, but it just was a Levi.
Yeah, I remember those.
I bought like 6-7 pairs of them joints. Yeah. I was like, yo, I held on to them joints. I was like, yo, these gonna see me through when in rough times. Now you got
but rough he had on them boot cut jeans though. You had them shits all the way down, covering the logo.
Hell no, I didn't. I'm a different breed, baby. I want to I'm out here like this. What? What up?
You was a salacious individual.
Hey, yo, boy. let me see your brush. Let me get my shits right here. Watch your feet. Don't step on my joint. Nigga, them Levi's. So what?
You was a salacious individual.
And what's funny is those type of, like, you know what's funny? I'm gonna tell you something. And this has been an experience of mine because I listen, I done seen fire and rain. Like I ain't gonna come on here and act like I could always get them double soul butters like that.
We all seen fire and rain, bro.
All right now, because you know the way some of these rappers talk, I be like, yo, son, well, I don't know how y'all did it. You know what I'm saying? They hear the stories y'all telling in these rhymes, y'all act like I ain't never seen a day without something, you know.
Lying.
They lying like a mug, you heard?
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few of their budgets.
Yeah, and then lying. You know what? And then and that's why some of them don't know what to do now because like the economy of how to do things changed. So doing stuff like, you know, crowdfunding and, you know, selling your own merch and, you know, different sort of things that you would do in this age, which are acceptable and they don't understand them and they can't utilize them because they done been made a career off of how rich and opulent their lifestyle is, how you look raising money to try to do the new album. You supposed to be rich, baby boy. So Cass is
I'm gonna keep that.
I'm
gonna keep that a band. I hate it. I don't want to generalize. The younger generations don't care about that. They do crowdfund. They do a lot of crowdfunding.
Now I'm talking about Cass from my era.
Your era, yeah. Y'all era, y'all will not crowdfund for shit in the world. Motherfuckers don't produce proper looking merch for shit in the world. Trey about the only artist that I've dealt with, that I've known, that I've rocked with of his age group.
Let me stop you.
I don't know you, bro. I don't know you yet.
It's too much blasphemy. All right. All right. We gonna stop. You're gonna stop you here. All right?
Hey, I don't know many, bro. I don't know you.
We gonna stop.
Him.
Not just for me. For all of us. All right. For all of us.
Hey, show me some good merch from y'all.
But listen.
I buy merch. And I work hard.
Listen. Let me say this. This is the thing. Deb Antney just did an interview with Mav Hoffa, and she was saying how MCs 50 years old and up sound so outdated, right? I'm just throwing that out there because older MCs, people want to put the stink on the fact that older MCs still make music. And the thing is, we're not trying to take fans or listeners from young people.
No.
It's a whole different dynamic. So when we do make music, it's tougher to get it out there. It's tougher to reach the crowd. It's tougher to reach our fan base. So it's easy for a guy like TS not to see the MC of that dynamic doing product because we're all over the place.
Y'all are.
You know what I'm saying? We're trying to take whoever loves us and go to them.
Yes.
If we could do a coffee shop with 50 people, we're gonna come and we're gonna rock hard for them 50 people.
But that's good though. I'm for that. And I'm for that.
No, I know that, but I'm saying that's why he's laughing when you say I'm the one you know. It's like, that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because brothers are out here over 50 making dope ass music. And then when you hear it, it's like, oh shit, this nigga.
But they not doing the tangible things. They not doing it. There's a lot of them not doing the tangible things.
Necessarily.
Yo, you point me in a direction. Point me in a direction. Who's doing tangible stuff?
Go to my IG page. You'll run into mad people that's doing that.
You don't count though. You on the show. You don't count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but even in that is
mm-hmm.
part of it. You understand what I'm saying? Because the fact that I'm part of the show, but it's still like, let me say like this. Because we gotta have sanity in the conversation. Because what happens is it's not fair to act like I don't know. You're right, Cheers. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah, a lot of cats are not using new media effectively. They are not using funnels. They're not using they don't understand analytics. They don't understand social media. It's posting times. They don't understand building communities and networking through social media. They don't understand how monetizing change and how to create funding opportunities for themselves, diversifying their funding opportunities, what it means to have a certain amount of followers and how to monetize based on having an X amount of followers, you know what I'm saying, and how you can generate monthly income just generated on those things and then be able to build an economics for yourself on that. Now, most artists don't understand that because that is another world that have to been grown. Some of that stuff is, even though we were a part of its inception and we kind of naturally adapted because we grew into it as well, like our children are. This world is a world that we constantly have to learn, whereas for our children, this world is a world that they were born into. So everything is a matter of fact for them. Whereas everything for us is a matter of necessity to learn and circumstance. So if we are if whatever scale, wherever we sit on the innovative and pragmatic scale, is going to directly affect our ability to engage new media, new tech, and then keep in mind too, when you look at our fan base, which is now the demographic is anywhere from 35 to 65, with the majority of it being from 45 to 65. You're looking at a demographic that is losing patience for learning new tech. So we're going to lose a huge sector of our fan bases and access to them once Facebook is gone, because Facebook is on that. We know it's going out. Like even
it's about to die soon.
You know what I'm saying? We know that Instagram is going to have to fall soon too because of its proximity to Facebook. And once those two go, we're going to see that.
But Twitter's going to go before all of them.
Well, yeah, but I think that even the Twitter is not as important for creators because its medium is not priority. It doesn't prioritize video and audio. So most artists from my era are not going to identify things like Twitter Spaces and these other things. They're not going to be hip to them. You understand what I'm saying? Because some of these things are also marketed towards younger people intentionally, like fan base. Was intentionally marketed towards younger people.
Yes, it was.
Trying to develop a base that he can build, that he can ride out for the next 20 years, or 10 years at least, and be like, yo, I'm set because this fan base that I started when they were 15, they 25, they still with me. It's love. So, when we talk about, the real issue for adult contemporary hip hop, which is what I like to coin the demographic hip hop that we're making now, right?
Right.
The primary problems is just corralling the fan base into the same location. You heard? Is to find the conduits and mediums by which, people can see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not an Instagram person, you will never know how hot Kool Kim is right now. You know what I'm saying? But if you on Instagram, you would be like, yo, because cats be like, yo, son, cats hit me up all the time. I'm like, yo, 3 years ago, I wasn't popping at all. I was irrelevant. I was in the same space that other cats was, even though I was fighting not to be. But I figured out the way. And I know a lot of other of us are figuring out the way, but it's still a lot of barriers. We don't have the budget. We don't have a culture that's naturally adapting to the means we can do it without the budget.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to disagree as a media person, as a marketing person, and someone that deals with many sources of marketing and different products and different mediums of social media and stuff like that. I can't disagree. Facebook is probably the biggest space for adult contemporary music because that's where a lot of older generation really reside at. The sad part is they might not even take a lot of it in because a lot of our generation is acting like the kids. So it's more gossip on Facebook than it is anything. But even still, that generation purchase product. You know what I'm saying? And our generation, okay. You know, you guys and mine, because that's my generation as well. Yeah. Our generation purchase because we have money. Yeah, because it's all about putting out proper product. Because if I buy a hoodie from you and the quality of the hoodie isn't good, I'm not buying again. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. I'm not buying again. And as someone that every month I buy independent artist products, hats, hoodies, tees. I buy a whole jogger suit from a guy. Some product is good. Yeah. Some product isn't. And I'll let you know, hey, looks good, a little tethered. You know, work on that improvement because it's people that purchase. There's a lot of us that purchase vinyl. Vinyl sales are still up. Yeah. How many people are purchasing? How many people are producing vinyl? The first thing I hear is vinyl is so expensive to produce. I hear you, but it really isn't if you look at the proper sources. No, that's it. No, sir. Don't talk to me because I just bought vinyl. I just bought vinyl with the artist. I bought 100 pieces of vinyl. Let's talk. All right. Let's go. Listen,
you got to keep in mind once again. So I was looking for I want to do, I'm going to do boutique style hip hop. Okay. Because you're the exact type of patron that I'm looking for. Someone that enjoys merch. Mm-hmm. Likes collectibles, all that kind of thing. Like, if I see something, if my artist, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm picking that up. Yeah, you're the guy I'm looking for. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm tap dancing for you, brother. You heard what I'm saying? So you tell me you looking for vinyl. You think that I ain't been looking for it already? I'm like, brother, I'm looking. But the most that I seen that I can do after doing my diligence, the closest I seen is something that was not cost prohibitive for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just speaking, logistically. Like, I can't tell no other way was right now, Bandcamp has got a thing that they're doing where you
already see your first mistake.
Yeah. No, I'm saying Bandcamp, that was the closest thing that I saw to something that was an affordability, but everything else was an issue of getting a bulk amount of records, right? You know what I'm saying? Which meant that you had to have the upfront cash to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then some people like, yo, I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like, yo,
that's respectable.
I've got to generate. Like when again, let's go back to where we was. That's what's beautiful about great conversation, because you'll see how the entire conversation interweaves itself. That goes back to that concept of what we're talking about, just where Black business is and where we are as Blacks in business. You understand what I'm saying? So, you're coming into a situation where, as an artist who comes from a paradigm, a model that is specific, that is archaic now because it's a 90s model. Right. You adapt yourself to the now model. You're still trying to adapt to the now model. You see what I'm saying? And so you may not be hip to the low key real deal on Discord that somebody know, or what they talk about on Reddit, because you're not even knowing them spaces like that. Right. You might as well be talking about the black web to somebody. You heard? Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The dark web, rather. So, so again, and
sometimes for me, not to cut you off, I have to remember I may be more tapped in with certain things than others are. That's because because I do know an outlet that can help produce and press up. I do understand. You know what I mean? Sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I forget that I'm a little more tapped in than certain people when it comes to purchase.
If we start talking merch, right? I might be able to talk circles around some cats because my wife owned a boutique. You know what I'm saying? I used to go to the magic show, the Las Vegas, the sourcing shows. So I would go there, you know what I'm saying? And I learned all. I would be there, and I'm a quick learn. I did the knowledge and stuff like that. Bought my own heat presses, you know what I'm saying? Vinyl pressing, all of this, So I'm in the process of building all that out. So I have the web, you know what I'm saying? In fact, now I want to show y'all something, but I can't because I haven't done it yet. And if I show it, I'm gonna show y'all after we record it, because it's that dope. All right, it's that dope. But it's a great innovation for my new company. It's called 90s Era. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just gonna be like, merch, not just hoodies and tees, but things that are more conducive to, I'm from the 90s era. I'm an adult now. What are the products that reflect my sensibility? So I like my EDC, my everyday carry. I like my, you know what I'm saying? I'm into, walnut wood and, rustic pieces. And, there's certain stuff that I want to see. So I'm doing that kind of stuff. But, having had that experience, it gives me me some insight to discuss sourcing and stuff like that. But if I'm talking to John Q. Public, he's innovative, he's trying,
right,
but he doesn't even know what sourcing means.
Right. No, that's a fact.
You know,
that's a fact.
And so what I would turn around and say to you, bro, is that this is why you're more important to the culture than probably the culture realizes, and probably you. And maybe not probably, you probably, who's to say, who knows what, lurks in the minds of men, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of times we underestimate it because, again, our people, but for lack of knowledge, right? I don't know how that saying goes, but it's always this thing about our people suffer for lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, right? Our demographic, our age range, our part of the culture is suffering for lack of knowledge. And there's not very many people that guide us through it. And unfortunately, I think we alienated all the brainiacs and intelligent people in our culture early on. So most of them don't be want to have nothing to do with us. So they deal with us as commodities and not as partners. And, for me, being somebody that's both things, both a techie, a nerd, a geek, you know what I'm saying, an anime head or whatever, everything else, whatever, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was all I could do to jump on this live because I was fiending to keep watching Eminence of Shadow. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just that guy. So I understand both. Now, I was a data center technician most of my life. You understand? Like, I've had the marketing, I've had to learn every bit of everything that I do because I didn't have the finances to afford somebody to shoot and edit video. So I had to learn how to shoot and edit video, and I didn't have the money I don't have the money, let me say, to have somebody engineer my product. So I had to learn how to use my own D8 doors and get the plugins and the this and that and the thirds and how to work all that and master on that. You know what I mean? I had to learn all this myself. And then you find one other issue. And here's the last thing on it from my point is that, yo, it's cool if you could do a lot of things good. I could do a lot of things good. I could do a remarkable amount of things good, yo. To the extent that it's like, it almost is like, it tortures me because I feel like I'm not doing enough with my life, right? So
that hurts you more than it helps.
Yeah, sure it does. And then check it out. You're good at 500 things, but you ain't great at none of them because you spread so thin.
Yeah. That's a fact.
And so this is what, like, can you imagine? Like, bro, let me just tell you. 6 a.m, I wake up. I get into the studio. My studio is literally like 5 steps away from my house because it's a shed that I built into a studio, right? So I come in here. I start scouring the internet or whatever I'm looking for to find a beat that I want to do a 1 minute takedown to, right? 1 minute takedowns are my thing that I do on Instagram where I take beats and basically just do duets or remixes. You know what I mean? But I do them high end so that they're more engaging and fun. You know what I mean? So 6 a.m, I'm up. And not because I make myself get up. I'm just naturally, I'm on old man hours. So I'm in here about 5, 6 in the morning. Yeah. You know what I mean? So find the beat, write the lyrics, record the song, mix it down, master it, play it 500 times to memorize it as much as I can. Shoot the video, light it, all of what I got to do to shoot, so you already know the vibes, right? To get my ambiance. Yeah. All of that stuff that's gonna happen there. Shoot, edit, color correct, so I can match my color correct, my ambiance, my color to the original clip from whatever I got it from, so it looks like it's one video, right? Render it, upload it, tag it, put the hashtags on it, share it to multiple format it because it's formatted in portrait, TikTok, IG, YouTube Shorts. A Facebook reels. You understand? I make another version where I have this one right here, but I have sides on it. That's formatted for regular YouTube content. Blah blah blah. Facebook regular content. All of this. I gotta get this done by 11 o'clock because my primary time for the post has been between 11 and 1. I get the maximum impact. Talking less than 6 hours to do all of this work by myself.
Oh, I know.
You see what I'm saying? And then talking about do that every day. Yo, that is crazy taxing. Yo.
Bro, the name of my company is called Got What You Need. Because I do everything.
So
I understand.
So if I ask you if you got it, you would basically say,
I got it.
Okay, you got what I need.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm dead at I do
if I ask you if you got it, you gonna say I got what you need. I do
everything.
Baby.
I'm damn near learning animation as we speak.
That's my next endeavor because I really want to get on that.
Me too.
I'm you know what it is? You know what's holding me back? Not even holding me back. You know why I'm kind of double dutching in it right now?
What?
Because I'm looking at how AI is kind of evolving.
Doing everything for everyone.
And yeah, but I'm saying to myself, even in AI, right? There is still an issue of coding.
Yep.
Even if it's in the syntax and the phrasing.
Yep.
To be able to articulate to the AI what you're looking for, it's still going to take.
You're going to take some learning of code.
Yeah, for those of us that are adept. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yes, sir. So I'm trying to, I'm trying, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know what I'm saying?
Multiple languages.
CBT all day, B. You know what I'm saying? C plus, you know what I'm saying? You know, but this is, you know, I'm old time with it. I go back to, you know, mainframe, mid-range, and personal computers.
I understand.
You know, I mean, like I'm from ASCII and all that.
Right. I remember those. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, you talking about language. I understand.
Yes, sir.
But I learned that, and over time that's been my hindrance of why I haven't progressed, because I do too many things. Yeah. But I've learned. I started outsourcing. So what I did was, you got to outsource. You know what I'm saying? You can find ways to outsource, Fiverr, all these other shit that don't cost a hell of a lot of money, and it can get done, and no one could jerk you because you already know it.
No one could jerk you, because at that point you're in the jerk phase of your business.
Yep.
You're in the jerk
phase
of that business.
So next year I'm hiring my first 2 employees, full-time employees, because I'm tired of outsourcing, because I have to progress what we even doing with this podcast. Yeah. Because this podcast is on my network.
Right.
Of 5 other podcasts. Right. So I have to make sure everyone gets the attention, and I'm a host on this podcast and another podcast.
That's right.
So even with Trey, making sure that, you know what I mean? Even I call myself his low-key manager. You know what I mean? Because I'm super low-key. We run everything by each other, making sure that he gets all that he needs. So when he releases his work, the masses is seeing it in a proper way that it should be seen. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I also, like you said, you do so much of everything, it hinders you. It's a hindrance. It's a full-fledged hindrance, because you know so much, but not a master of any product that you fucking do. But, you know what I'm saying? But it's also a good thing too, because I ain't jerked. You can't jerk me.
I got something for you though. Here's the thing that I've been working on these last 6 months with people. I've been really making a concerted effort. You know, and I've been like outright pitching cats in their podcasts and everything. So this ain't gonna be no exception in terms of conversation. That I used to be the ambassador to hip hop for the Institute of the Black World, which was chaired by Dr. Ron Daniels at the time.
Okay.
And Dr. Ron Daniels used to hit me to this concept of, he used to say, cooperation without consolidation. You know what I'm saying? Where you create a consortium of people who are willing to cooperate. And cooperation means things like, yo, fam, how did you put your floating pop-ups, and how did you get them in motion track like that on Kini Master? How did you figure that out, Paul? Yo, just send me the file, son. I got you. Just send me the file on what you wanted to say. You know, boom, boom, boom. Oh, snap. All of a sudden, this whole learning curve that I was going to have to do to figure out how to do this for an hour and 15 minutes, trying to figure out how to, you know, source and how to get done. It just got alleviated because I cooperate with my boy over here.
Yeah, I have a circle of folks that I do that with.
Yeah, right. And see, that's the problem. And what happens is that many of us who are, you know, because everything, you know, we paralleling each other in points of view about these things, you know what I'm saying? Even though I think we see things a little differently, only because we don't realize we see them the same fully, right? You know what I mean? Right. And what I'm saying is, though, when you're in them situations, man, it's like, yeah, it's you have to have that network of people.
Yes.
Because you'll burn out, because you will inadvertently surround yourself with people that are unqualified. You understand what I'm saying? And also, you're smartest one in the room all the time.
Yeah, that's never fun.
Extremely bad.
Yeah, it's never fun.
It's it really isn't. It's you know what? Not only is it not fun, bro, it's lonely. It's lonely when you really get real with it. When you start really thinking about where you sit and where your place is in the mechanics of things and how things have to work, and the accountability aspect of it. You understand? When we talk about when things don't go right, and you're the only person that does know how things should go. Don't nobody even understand why things went wrong. So you're the only person that got to get, you know what I'm saying?
It happens a lot.
Lonely space to, okay.
Oh yeah.
It burns you out.
Hell
And
yeah.
on top of that, it cripples you socially because you learn how to not listen.
Yep.
And there's power in just listening. So that whole lifestyle, that was fucking most of my goddamn life.
Yeah.
That led to depression and alcoholism.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you just hate everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, you just feel like a stranger. Like you're a stranger in a crowded room.
And
nobody understands anything. Nah,
Yep.
but that alcohol makes you not realize where you're at.
Right.
Speaking of
You know what I'm
depression, man. Speaking of depression, it's a holiday season. It's a high number of, it's a high number of depression, especially in people trying to get things for their children, for family members and things of that nature. Me with I have three kids, two little ones, one adult, so I don't have to really buy her nothing unless I really, really want to. You know what I'm saying? But my biggest goal is make sure she's around for family time. What do you think people should do around this time to help them try to cope with that? You know what I'm saying? What type of, because we've all been in some form of depression in some shape, form in their lives. And we've watched people take themselves up out of here around this time of the year. We just had the Twitch boss. He just, took himself up out of here right before the holiday season. And then there's others that we're not gonna even know. You know what I mean? It's others that we just won't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what kind of coping mechanisms do you guys possibly do on your own or can suggest for people to do? What you think, Tre?
I'm not really a big holiday person. My son is grown, but I do understand the pressures. But we need to take care of our own homes in-house. I think a lot of the pressures are outside forces. You know what I'm saying? We look at a lot of other people's highlight reels and we feel like we have to compete with that.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can buy your child just this one toy. But your child, I remember with my son buying him all of this shit, and the one toy he want that he loves is the one that costs like $3.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And what made that toy more special is me sitting down next to him when he had that toy.
And playing with it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we hold so much value to the things that have no value. You know what I'm saying? We place price tags on things that have no worth. You know what I'm saying? The things with children that really hold great value have no monetary value. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can't really train people's minds to think that way overnight because we just feel like we have to compete. Because what do people do every holiday? They post on social media all the gifts they received, all the gifts they purchased. And when you didn't purchase or receive these things, you feel shortchanged.
That's why I never do that shit. You're right. That shit is corny.
You know what I'm saying? It's so damaging. But we're different from a lot of people. Just like when we talk about inner circles, I always say I have moon.
Yeah.
Because that's all I have the capacity to maintain. The rest of that moon is not good for me. Nor am I good to it. Because it has no value. I only want things of value. And within the holidays, the thing that's of value is the fact that you're there with your family and you can spend that day in tune with each other and you're creating new memories.
Yeah.
That's what the real value of any holiday is to me. Because we all know holidays are bullshit. The actual value is I have parents that are 87 years old that have been married over 60 years. I can sit down and make my father laugh. I can make my mother laugh and go in the kitchen and make me some vegetables, and makes her day. You know what I'm saying? I can just go in the kitchen and just wash one dish, and she happy as hell, and I'm just in the kitchen with her.
Yeah.
I can watch the game with my father because my father thinks I'm hilarious, so I just make him laugh.
Right.
Yeah. That's the real value. I think if we can go back to the core values of family, there's no way you could be depressed with that, man. There's no way. There's no way.
That's a fact,
Tre.
That's a fact.
Let me tell you something, Cat. As a father whose son makes him laugh.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Power in that. Power in that.
You know.
That's the best medicine.
For him, that shit big, dog. Like,
Yeah, I get it. My son's 28, man. I'm not cutting you off. I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah.
My son, we text back and forth every day.
Yeah.
Yo, just hearing him on the phone. See, I still met my son and talk to him.
Yeah.
Just hearing that nigga laugh, son.
Yeah.
Just hear, and sometimes what he say might not be funny, but that nigga be having me dying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why my son
You know what I'm
is. Yo,
saying?
Even
How old
when
is your son?
my youngest son is 29. My oldest son is 32 now, I think. Yeah, he's 32 now. So yeah.
But ain't it crazy when a son is that old and they
Yeah.
still want to hang out with you?
Oh yeah.
Like my son will still listen to my bars.
Yeah.
Yo, son, that is what?
My
Oh
my youngest son was who really picked the first 1 minute takedown for me.
Dope. That's dope.
You understand what I'm saying? He was the one selecting
That's dope though.
at
That's
first.
dope.
You know what I'm saying? All my kids rhyme. So we've all been able
that's
to
hard. That's hard.
We've
That's
enjoyed that our whole lives, making music in the household and
that's
doing
hard.
all this
That's
stuff.
hard.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, to your original question, Paul, let me just say that it been you know, we got to look at this thing a little big, I think, kind of, you know what I mean? Because maybe it's not just the holidays, y'all, right?
Right.
Life in general, most definitely.
Yeah, man. Because
the holidays magnifies it though. It just magnifies what's already there.
Well, keep
present.
this topic going. I gotta answer this as my mom, so just give me a second.
Yeah. You know, you keep in mind that right now it's the winter, so the sun is going 13 hours out of every day. So we're not even seeing sunlight like we're supposed to see. You know what I mean? And cats are not realizing that and it's wild gloomy. Cats not realizing that they bugging out off of that alone. You understand? And then let me say, it's been darker this winter than I ever recall it being this dark.
Well, yeah, it is.
I can't, and I'm mindful of that. So I
might go a whole week and don't see no sunlight.
Yeah, it's like, yo, what's up? Like, you know, if I'm in the house, I'm like, right now I got the shade down, so I could only see a little bit. I got to step outside every now and then to make sure I get a little bit on myself. You understand? And then this whole year, 2022, for some of us, been 2022. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it ain't just like you going through the same horrors of watching mad people die around you.
Yeah.
It's been nonstop. So for me, myself, we buried a granddaughter. We buried my mother-in-law, my homegirl. You know what I'm saying? Puppies. Freaking, oh man, like I'm missing mad stuff. I just, you know, it's just so much. Friends, my peer group, Tame, you know what I'm saying? Freaking, you know, Granddaddy IU, this one and on Ecstasy, and you know, come on, man, right? All this type of stuff, and now we getting confronted with our own mortality too.
We definitely are.
And some of us is putting their parents into the graves. I just watched my wife put her mom. You know what I mean? Like I seen that.
I can't imagine. I
definitely understand my stepfather, he's been around since I was in my shit. I was 19. He's stage 4 cancer. He can go any day now. So I'm watching my mother watch him die. You know what I'm saying? And not know, like, that's like her calling me just now is like, that's immediate. It's 11 o'clock. Why you not in church? Why you calling me? Let's go see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what was thinking in my mind. Like, hold up, my mom's calling me? Let me take this call because that means something is wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then there was nothing wrong. So I was like, all right, cool. Ma, I gotta go. I'm on the podcast. She was like, well, tell the podcast people I said hi. You know what I mean?
Look at the circle of dialogue and similarities.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And this is also like one of the goals of the Black Male Podcast, you know, with Black men, and we want to have these uncomfortable conversations become comfortable.
Yes.
Many of us live with these conversations inside, you know, and they're viruses.
Come on.
And they grow and they develop into something fierce that's hard to handle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't talk about things. You know what I'm saying? We can laugh, we can cry, you know, we can laugh, we can cry together. And then we can go out and we can conquer this world. But we conquer this world free from that virus and that inner turmoil that we hold on to. And we're not alone. See, many of us, we live our life like we're alone. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we can have fun. But me, you know what I'm saying? I had to get rid of some relationships because all they were medicinal. Everything was about fun. Like I stopped drinking heavy like 7 years ago. And I started to realize a lot of my surroundings was just people that we just stayed medicated. You know what I mean? I can't keep hiding from these things. And then I got confronted with something recently. You know what I'm saying? I had to deal with some things that happened 30 years ago that's still lingering. I need to attack that shit and funeralize them motherfuckers. There's things I got to do to get that shit out of the way.
Let me tap into that real quick, Trey, real talk, because you know something like what I was getting at was that you see all these things that I'm saying happen to me, right? It's happening around me and my family and all of that.
Indeed.
The flip side of it is that this has been a stellar year for me. You know what I'm saying? I put out multiple singles. I've been traveling. I'm recapturing that, you know, I'm finally getting that, put myself in a position where my name is being given the respect that I felt it deserved. People recognizing me as a top tier MC, like all these things that I felt like people should have known about me, but I didn't get that chance. It's happening. So these great things, I'm traveling into Oakland, been here. I'm making money doing it again. It's like good stuff happening. So I'm so excited and focused on the potential. I got all these things that I got to learn, you know what I'm saying? All this learning curve with all this new tech and all understanding these new methods and means by which I can try to fend off the algorithm from keeping me from being obscure. You know, all of these things, man. You know, and all of these things.
Fighting with those,
you know, all of these things that I'm doing, right? I ain't had a chance to process none of this crap. I ain't processed none of this.
Right.
These things that any one of those things would have been enough to carry you through a year of grief. And yet and still I ain't processed none of it. And
but that's the science of keeping yourself strong.
That's the science of killing yourself. You want to know why it's the science of killing yourself? That's why a mug like Twitch could be dancing in a video, smiling and laughing, and then 2 days later go in the hotel and kill himself. You understand?
I look at that as a little bit different though. But go ahead. Let me see your point.
Because what's happening is, you rocking because good things is happening. You trying to focus. You grinding in on that rocking. What's happening is good thing. You got momentum. You in on that momentum. These terrible things are annoying.
You haven't taken time to digest the bad shit that's been going on.
And okay, From that angle, I get you. From that angle, it's all gonna hit it one time.
And don't, God forbid it. And you got to keep in mind, what's the hit? God forbid it hit. God forbid it hit right when you up against a wall.
Yep.
That's why cats get split in half like that, fam.
Yeah. I get you.
You put it that way.
That's too much. Yeah, that's why I asked him. I was wondering where you're going. That's too much to handle at one time. That's too much to handle at one time.
But you know what?
That's
as black men,
like everything hits you at one time.
Cause you rocking and rolling. Like I said, like he making all this money. He doing all this. He looks so happy. Yeah, you rocking and rolling. So even though you happy in the things that are working out for you, those are this whole big thing of worried things you're trying to maintain too. You don't want to lose this great thing you're doing. So you got this also anxiety to maintain that on top of. You're not even, because of it, you're not even engaging these very real issues that they will demand your, at some point, they're going to be like, come, hey, have a seat.
But that's where we gotta also think about ourselves. We gotta start being a little selfish in making sure you take some time out for you to analyze your issues and see what's going on. Talk to somebody. I know on last podcast, we said, there's a few places I said you can go, you know what I mean? And if you can talk to a pastor, talk to a close friend, talk to a psychiatrist, talk to somebody, man.
Talk to your phone.
Yeah.
Open up your IG, go live, and just talk your shit.
Just get it off you, though.
Get it out your system. And listen, and then when you're done, delete it. Or talk your talk, and you be surprised 4, 5, 6 people be on that live with you, like, yeah, I hear you.
Yep,
and then you can find out you're not alone.
Because taking yourself out of here, I will always feel like that's not the lane to go.
I talk to myself daily. Like some people meditate. I have dead ass conversations. Like I dead ass have a podcast by myself.
Yeah, I meditate.
I don't know that I fully believe that killing oneself is necessarily a bad thing. I know that's a bugged out thing. But I have seen in my life situations and circumstances where I thought that person did what they should have done for themselves. That they saw that enough of this. I had enough, and these weren't.
We're gonna always differ because I think that's the most selfish thing you can ever do.
It's not the most selfish thing because it's the final thing. You understand? Right. And what you leave in your wake is wild selfish, and what you do to people is wild selfish because what you leave. And I'm absolutely in agreement. There is we do not differ in that at all. What I am saying to you is that I experienced my Uncle John passing. He dealt with mental health issues.
Right.
He saw demons. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to maintain through it. It became too much for him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In his fight, he jumped off a terrace and he died. You know what I'm saying? I don't acknowledge that as that man killing himself off the, yo, you failed me and you were selfish. I acknowledge that man as he was in a fight and he had to do what he had to do. And I don't even know, like, can you imagine what he sees or don't see? And
that's a deeper level of the situation. And but the example you're giving, that's not what people think of.
But that's the problem, is that we're not thinking of that. We're not thinking of a person like Twitch.
No, I don't disagree.
Whenever a black person achieves a certain status or height, all of a sudden they're responsible for all black people's plight. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
But from the outside looking in, all people see is
what
you taking your life. And no, that's what I'm saying. From the outside looking in, what they see is you took your life and you left your wife and you left your kids. That's what people see. That's what people see.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when we see something, all we see is on the surface. That's what we see. In the initial time, we see on the surface. Just like no different with Dion. Dion leaves the HBCU. That's all people see. Dion left us to go to the white people. Or even what's with a podcast. Like if we sign with a white company with money. You know what I'm saying? They're the Black Mile podcast, and soon the white people offer some money, they left.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or even what you're doing now, independently. Well, I do independently. And collectively do independently. Somebody offers some money. You know what I mean? Now we're doing different things.
Sold out.
Yeah, you sold out.
We don't, like I said, but we don't want to think.
That wasn't even fucking with me before.
We don't want to think because we're scared if we think we're going to miss our turn to speak. You see what I'm saying?
I'm selling out. As soon as one of these docs he hit, I'm selling out. I'm let you know right.
But an intelligent person knows how to be quiet.
Look. I'm gonna just ask for an editing job. You need nobody. You need an extra editor. So somebody does some sync licenses. I got your back, baby. Holler back. I'm on the train, kid. Because everybody want to eat. Everybody want to be okay. Everybody want to buy their family something nice and take care of their people.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? As long as you ain't doing it at somebody else's detriment, without no good reason or circumstance. But again, like I just think, all of this stuff, man, it's really about being easy enough and being calm enough and patient enough to be able to step back and not engage any of the things that we talked about from the shoot from the hip. It's not the Wild West. We're not gunfighters. These aren't situations that require us to give immediate answers.
No.
We don't have to chase after sensationalized media or salacious media, you know what I'm saying, in the name of trying to engage an audience. So why not take the time to be like, yo, the issue happened last week and y'all just talking about it this week? And they say, you just talking about it this week? You say, yeah, because we took the time to find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that's a fact.
A lot of people fear that level of understanding.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we did. We did not want to jump into it because you just never know what's going on. You don't never know what that meant. And plus, I don't never want us, and Tre's the same way. We're not gonna sensationalize or down what he did because we're not in his shoes. We didn't wear his shoes, so we don't know. But we can generalize it in a spectrum of I've almost committed suicide. I've been depressed. Tre has been depressed. We've all been into a space where we've been. And what was our thought pattern during that process on our own?
Exactly.
You know, you put yourself in your own, share your own, what happened in your own life that made you even think about even doing that. You know what I mean? Taking that step.
Let me ask you a question. Funny, but not funny, but ill question. If you think about the course of your life, moments of your life where you really was suffering, you was really sad, right? Yo, if you had like an off switch, like maybe that you could just press it, like you had a little 3-button combination to turn off, how many times that got inadvertently got turned off?
Man, in the early days,
in the moment.
In the early days, about 1,000 times. Nigga.
Come on, man.
Shit, about 1,000 times I'd have hit that motherfucking button.
There, but for the grace of God, go out. Because same here, man. There's been times if I had me a little and I could just shut it off, I might have shut it off a few times when I was in a space of despair. Direly not wanting to face what was coming in front of me, where I would have rather died, I felt like, than have to endure what was I had coming. You know what I mean?
I talk about all the time how you be here, you got it all, everything is looking groovy, and then that shit shoots you back down to fucking reality, and you like, what the fuck?
Yo, and hard too, like
and hard face.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like how You know how anime they punch
Yeah.
somebody up in the sky, and then he teleport up there, and then he punch him
Hit
back
him
down
down.
to the ground, and then he land on him. It's like it's like
That's
that.
life right there. Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
So
It is.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm always mindful about. That's why I'm loath to say it's selfish because
I got you.
it's not because I don't understand the impact that it has on the people that it leaves behind. I am among people that have been left behind, so I'm acutely aware of how selfish and how hurtful that can be. You know what I'm saying, and what you've done and you left in your wake. But I'm also very, very sympathetic to anyone that would willingly give up the most precious of experiences, which is to live, man. You know, like
to live. Yeah.
People live and find a way to laugh in some of the most stark and desolate and conditions. Yeah.
No, this is true.
And for a person to be in the first world, but to be sieged mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, socially, whatever it is, to the extent that they literally saw no better option in their mind than to do what is beyond me to even conceive of doing, because I would be too scared.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, I feel.
I'm absolutely too scared to death.
I think. Yeah, I feel that. But I think.
No, I feel that totally.
I think. Most reactions are just knee-jerk reactions. I think it's too common. You know what I mean? I think, like for myself, you know, I'm heavy in the science of the mind, and TS, no, I like to find a better understanding of what's going on. Like TS is quick to say fuck him. Like he's the fuck him guy.
Right.
Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to find a different understanding of what's going on, so I can have a thought process of everything that's around me, because I really want to know how these thoughts are going.
That's because TS has been.
Go ahead, say it.
TS, correct me if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, it's insulting, and I don't mean it that way.
You're never insulting.
No, not intentionally. You know what I'm saying? You have learned the value of the economy of emotion.
Yep. I don't hold. I can't.
No, I don't hold either. But I think there should be a balance. There should be a balance within understanding.
Trey, it's not. It ain't even like. Don't even bother with that, because with you sciencing, right? That's like that. You dealing in a different sort of normalcy. The economy of emotion for some people, and this is a term I'm coining the term as I'm speaking. Is to me built around, you know, it are people like I'll use myself an example, right? Being unique, having unique abilities, unique talents, unique perspective. You learn the economy of emotion just based on some of the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, as they say, that you experience over life, dealing with people, and how how emotion has impacted you, and dealing and investing in people too much. So you learn at some point that it's best to understand how to
button that. There's some bars right here, boy.
Yeah. I don't.
That's why I write these rhymes the way I write them.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
It's not even. You know, it's like one of those things like. It's not even like, because there's nothing that's said that's even in that spectrum. It's just really like, yo, I'm study people to me. Like I know Trey, I know your type of cat. I know how me and you would hang out. I know for sure me and you would get along famously, because I already know your type of dude off rip. I know how to not get on your nerves. I know how to keep you from getting on my nerves. I know how to have a good time.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Because I could see the type of person.
Yeah, that's how me and this man rock.
But yes, I'm listening, so I'm like, I can see the type of person this cat is. I'm hearing in his build. I recognize these things. I recognize it because they're my experience. You know what I mean, Paul?
Yeah. But see, the balance with me and him is just like we're so similar internally. Because we both always grow up being the most intelligent person in the room. I just lived within a different environment than he did. Yeah. But the thoughts are the same. We handle things a little different, but we're really like the same person.
You was able to carry it different. I bet you.
Yeah.
If we analyze the situation, we got into the history of it, the catalyst point where TS really started to feel that economy of emotion, when that started kicking in, is a point in his life where either it was after when you could address it the way you would have liked to, right? But it was just over now. So now it's just how am I dealing with things from forward?
For me,
you know what I'm saying?
For me, it's like this, bro. It's weird because I am a full-fledged nerd. Full-fledged.
Yeah.
In every sense of the spectrum. But then I also used to be a street nigga. So, and my emotions that make it made me realize a lot of times that my internal angers was because I was trying to be something that that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? So since I started embracing the me of life, I realized a lot of shit don't bother me as much as it used to be. Because I feel like all the street niggas I knew, and I hate using that word, but got to categorize them who they are, was always emotionally wrecked. Always. Always got an issue mentally. Everything that put them in prison was because of emotion and not logically thinking. I've never been to jail, I've been holding cells, but I've never been to jail or prison because I never put emotion into things. I move with a sense of logic in everything I do, and sometimes it can be a detriment because I can overthink things and overanalyze. But then sometimes it also kept my ass from, because I probably should have been doing 20 or 30, but I was lucky enough and mentally enough to be like, all right, let me grasp it. And my daughter was born. That was the last time I did something. When that little girl came out of my baby mom's body, I did my last run and I took my ass to college.
I hear that.
Because I knew that I couldn't do this no more. You know what I mean? Because that little girl, now 22 years old, looks at me in a light that I don't know no one outside of my two boys now. Now I got two younger, 12 and 7. They look at me. That's a different feeling. That shit makes you tighten the fuck up quickly.
And even they ain't gonna look at you like she look at you. It's a different feel, man. I got two sons and a daughter. My daughter's in the middle.
See,
and it's a different world, Cat. I feel you on that.
That's a different beast, bro. But man, so I mean, this conversation been going great, man. I wanna do some one quick hit, because the quick hit I did have, we already kind of talked about already. So I just went and took it off the list. Just a quick hit. We're gonna go back to the sports realm. I don't know how much you like sports, fam. It's NFL time. It's almost playoffs. What's our predictions for the Super Bowl? And Trey, don't say them bum ass Cowboys.
Don't start with the hate, man. We can't do that. We got guests in the house. We ain't even need to hear all of that.
I'm not a football dude.
You're not a football dude?
I'm not a football. Let me rephrase this. I'm not a football watcher. Right? Okay. I play the shit out of some football.
Okay.
I lay that wood. I'll run you down. 51 years old, I'll run you down. You heard? But I'm gonna tell you, the hate that the Cowgirls have gotten over the years
have
even reached me, yo. I mean, Trey, I don't mean no disrespect, Paul. I'm not a football guy. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm gonna tell you, yo. And then the Cowgirls playing for Massa, because you heard that crap he said the other day. See, I'm too political. I'm too busy dealing with the politics. I don't even know what's going on.
This is why I take that shit out of sports. Is the only place I refuse to let the politics take me over. Because I won't watch no sport.
Listen. I am the worst Cowboy fan in America. I grew up liking the Cowboys. This guy clowns the Cowboys all the time. I don't care, bro.
I do that
I am not invested, bro. I'm not invested. People knock Jerry Jones. I'm like, yo, I'm not defending that man.
Okay, nothing about him, right?
You know what I'm saying? I like watching the game. I'm a Knicks fan, though. I'm a Knicks fan. Grew up in New York. Yeah. MSG, I'm a Knicks fan. Now, I might argue with you on some Knicks. Fuck that. I don't care if we win one game.
The problem is I can't argue with him with the Knicks because my team is trash. I'm a Pistons fan. And my team,
I'm not argue with you about the Cowboys at all.
I'm only gonna question you about the Knicks only because you called them the Knicks and not your Knicks. I'm used to a proper Knicks fan say my Knicks. I ain't gonna argue about my.
Oh no, he's only doing that because you hit. When it's him and I, he always say my Knicks. He was like, yo, my Knicks, yo, my Knicks played tonight.
Yeah, my Knicks. Listen, all right. Listen, son. I got socks.
Yeah.
Mad Dad hats, Scully's.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
I had the
to...
bully season T-shirts. When Juice Randle had the MVP like season, then he reverted back to his old self. So
that shit was no MVP like season, but we ain't gonna argue.
We're not gonna argue. We're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna do that.
Win the MVP?
No.
Huh?
No.
Did he win the MVP that
season? No. I said MVP season.
Okay. MVP like. Yeah.
I understand.
He says, listen, look, he says we're not gonna argue, but he's the one that elevated his tone. So I don't understand. Yo, me and him go through this shit all the time. Certain topics he wants to get loud. And I'm like, why is you yelling at me? What are you doing? You ain't really mad. You ain't
He's just trying to get
yo, son, listen.
He's not really even triggered. He's trying to trigger you.
yo, son, listen. You know, you have no idea how right you are. He tries to get me riled up. And then later on, he be like, I'll just fuck with you, man. I really don't.
Nah, you know, I'm gonna tell you why I do that. I'm a good character read. Only because it is a part of my ability to protect and insulate myself from people. You know what I'm saying? It's a protection measurement. I like, because I'm a social chameleon. So I could, like, whatever the circumstances is, I could comfortably engage in it. Like, and be my whole authentic self at that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yo, I'm not even faking no jacks. I could just enjoy any setting, you know what I'm saying, and just be chilling. But you gotta always be mindful, because for every setting, there's an adversary. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, you gotta be able to, you gotta peep that cat early in the game and nip that dude in the butt early on, so there don't be no problem. And I'm not the tallest cat in the story. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? How tall are you?
6'6".
Yeah, them knees is easy, baby. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm pretty quick on my feet. Pretty quick on my feet.
I said, you know what I'm saying? Big boys, man. You gotta go
after the ball. I'm an oak tree. It's a little hard to fall. I'm a little hard to fall.
It's hard. Look, it's hard for us to hide when we hang out, bro. We can't hide nowhere.
I know y'all can't. You know what I'm saying? And so, it is, you just gotta, you just in here, like, you got.
But now we've been places where we don't last long because we don't like the vibe around us, bro. We feel it.
Yeah.
We politely disappear.
Now you know what's still about me, bro? I've been.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, pardon me. No, I've been throughout my life, right? I'm about 5'8" on a good day. You know what I'm saying? Depending on gravity hit me. If I ain't wearing no single soles, I might even see 5'9". So, but all my life, right? And I don't know what blessing it is that got a hedge around me, Paul, because it is a blessing. And I'm not a troublemaker, like, at all. Like, I avoid conflict. To a fault. You know what I mean? I'll admit that, because I just really I value violence. Like, I have an acute understanding of the power of violence. Also from the perspective of being able to administer it.
Yes, I understand.
You understand what I'm saying? And so
that's why I don't do it, because I'd rather enjoy it.
Yeah, that too. That's the other part that I recognize the sadism in me, the part of me that just wants to watch the suffering, and like, because something just recently happened where I really found myself enjoying twisting, a little more, because I generally come from the very, very humble, nice guy perspective. So it's like this really great thing when I get this, when somebody like, all right, so y'all big men, so y'all don't have you may not have the same scenario, but being a shorter cat, there's times the cats think, because you're shorter, that like that really is going to determine what's going to happen next. Height and weight is a very big factor in any conflict, especially if it's a physical altercation. So let's not make pretend here, right? But this cast is walking around here, you just got a big frame, and that's all you got. You got a big frame and a glass jaw, or you got a big frame and weak knees, or your solar plexus is not, there's no, there's nothing there. So, it's nothing to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I have that capacity, and yet all my life it's always been like, it's just as if Allah sent these big hulking men will always somehow or another just gravitate to me and don't want nothing from me. You heard? Ain't nobody trying to muscle me. I'm not that type of character. I got strong will. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it don't be that.
But it's all about your energy. It's all about your vibe around you.
But it's just these big dudes will always be like, and it's like everywhere I go, it'd be places I go, I've never been there. I don't know anybody there, but I'm known because whatever I'm doing. And the big dudes will find me and be just like, and I'll be like, yo, what's happening here? And I've been trying to figure this. Yo, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, it's to the extent that you know, and you an anime head. So you anime, do you mess with manga at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm not talking French right now. Yo, fam, I've almost convinced myself that I've been isekai to this world.
I understand. I got you.
I'm a bust it down.
Yeah, Trey won't know.
Trey
wouldn't know.
I know he's not gonna. He got this part of the conversation is gonna be a little off. I'm gonna make it brief though, so it ain't ridiculous.
I'm waiting for the breakdown.
All right, so check it out.
Okay, so breakdown.
For the isekai, for those that don't know that's watching, isekai is a genre of manga and anime where the main character is generally transported to either another world. The subset of isekai is called regressor, where they are transported back in time, where they just relive their life with the knowledge that they had from the end of their life. And isekai, the trope generally is that you're transported from modern Earth into some sort of medieval fantasy world of elves and dragons and stuff like that, with your memories intact, your knowledge of the past world, you know what I'm saying? And you're generally overpowered. So you got all of these magic powers plus skill and all these different things, right?
Yep.
And one day, in the midst of all of this death that I was seeing, and in the midst of feeling very depressed, you know what I mean? I was deep diving in my manga, you know what I mean? Trying to escapism and stay focused, you heard? And I remember one time I was like, I just got into this deep thought with myself about wishing that I could, praying to my ancestors type of thing, that I could be isekai. Like that when I pass, I can go, like my conscious would exist and I can go into this, into this other world to exist. But then it occurred to me that I had already been isekai. I said, so I come into this world, I could do everything. I could do any talent I could do. Only thing I can't really do is sing at a high level. I can do anything. Like there's nothing that you can do that I can't do. Like I literally can do it. Like everything you see around me, I built. Everything you see, I could do everything. Like it's nuts. And if I don't know how to do it, I could learn it
I get what you're saying and break it down, Trey. It's almost like a reincarnation type thing, but you coming back with all your stuff. I also feel the same way. That I've been here before and that I'm just picking up where I left off at or improving upon. You know what I'm saying? But
let me ask you, did you
we'll
know,
turn this into 2 hours if we keep going.
Nah, I'm gonna ask Kim this one thing. Did you know you were built like that when you were younger though?
That I felt like I was built like what? In what regard?
And what you speaking on was, because a lot of us, let me say what I'm saying. A lot of us, I said like TS and I, gifts that we have now that draw us together or that even drew me to you, I didn't recognize when I was younger.
Right.
Like I came up New York City, Southside Queens. My father put me in private school, right? So I went to school, hated every day because I was the smartest person around, most athletic, and I dealt with racism at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of my gifts were stifled. That turned me into an angry, enclosed person, right? And then one day I just woke up and realized I'm different from everybody, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? The gifts I have, I want to share.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
See, Trey. Yes. See what he's doing right now. You see what he said?
Yep.
He's furthering me now. He's sending me down the rabbit hole further because in most of that genre, it's at some point you get this sense of self-awareness.
Awareness, right.
If you remember, if you think about in your life, there's a point in which you come into your you. You may have memories from this and that, but the moment of self-actualization is much further. And in most of those cases, the reason why is because the earthly self had to learn language and actually function within the course of humanity. So once the shell has enough information, then the entirety of you can download so that you can now actually inhabit it. And that's what I actually be thinking is going on. And so now I don't really wish to isekai as I do still want it, but I still want to learn magic, but I don't wish to isekai as much.
Right.
I acknowledge that I have a leveling up ability now. that I can still level up. I can still enhance my skill. I can still, like, I am overpowered. I actually am. And once I came into that realization, as bizarre as the means by which I achieved that realization, because it's like, this is because I went the nerd route to figure it out. It's self-actualization is what I'm talking about.
Actually, yeah.
That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? Recognizing that you have more power and more capacity than you've allowed yourself to believe, because you've limited yourself to the constraints of society. Is ultimately what it is. My silly way of doing it was built around a medium and means by which is most comfortable for me, which was the manga. It made it simpler for me to just science it that way.
All right.
Yeah, I get
Well,
it.
if, like I said, we keep going. It's gonna be it's gonna be 2 hours. I think it's damn near close there. That's longer than our pod. Trey, I think this might be our longest pod so far, man. We beat the 140 mark, but I love that because that's how the thing's supposed to go. Yeah. Trey, you got any closing thoughts?
I'm gonna keep it quick, man. We gotta do a better job as a whole, listening to understand more so to listen to respond. Because a lot of the jewels that was even dropped now, you know, sometimes you got to take the pause and let a person cook, you know what I mean? And we all build and get stronger. But when you listen to respond, you block your blessings and you block the lessons that come to strengthen you within your progressions. Come on. So keeping it short, let's normalize, to make it simple for everybody. Let's normalize listening to understand before we respond and block the blessings and lessons that's within the dialogue that's placed in front of us by the universe.
Right on.
Dope. Kool Kim, you got anything you want to promote or bring up? Anything you want people to know about you?
Talk to the people.
Yeah, indeed. Well, first and foremost, man, I just want to say to everybody watching and vibing and listening and all of that show, it's okay if you're not okay. You heard? Like, it's okay. And that's all right. You can engage it. Don't be scared to engage it. Don't feel like you got to be everybody's superhero, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that ain't what it is. It's all right. It's all right. You know what I mean? And take that time to heal, rest. 3 days without sleep is a psychotic episode. So don't play with it. You know what I mean? The grind ain't glorious. And there's no glory in grinding to the point that you're gonna grind yourself and to nothing. So don't do it. Yo, listen, everybody, really excited. It's been an amazing year as we come to the close of this year. It's been an amazing year of doing amazing things, man. And my thing has been able to show y'all that we just begun and a day to be dope. And at 51 years old, and I'm not only having some of the most fun in my life that I've ever had, but I'm having so many moments where I'm bringing stuff together and getting some sort of like some closure on some issues that I needed closure on, man, because I'm just out here doing it. And I'm going to encourage all my brothers and sisters that's in my age range, in my demographic, that it's all right, man, to do that thing that you have passion for. If you have a passion for something, man, don't let go of your passion, fam. That's the reason why you living really, really well, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all right to have your job, take care of your wife, love on your family, do things in good course, have balance. But also take the time to enjoying the things that make you smile and makes your heart beat. It's so right. It's your life, and you have a right to it. With that being said, I would love for y'all to check me out on Instagram under KoolKim_NY Oil. And of course, I'm dropping new singles all the time. My latest single is called The Uprise with my brother Ja Eyewitness. And of course, there's another one called My Condolence. They're streaming on all platforms. So definitely check that out, man. But follow me on Instagram and just enjoy the adventure, man, because this is what it's about. And this is what that adventure got me here. These adventures intersect. And so this will not be the last time I see you cats. In fact, that you can imagine the next time I see y'all, we're going to be face to face in the place, because that's how I'm going to be moving for 2023. I'm in the streets. I'm on the road. I'm going to meet people. I want to break bread. I want to have experiences, and I want to have everything there is for me to have while the seasons of having and giving are mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Kool Kim, and I approve this message. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Once again, man, it's a Black Male Podcast, episode 89. TS is who I am. And my guy.
That is who I am.
And then we got
Kim, who I be.
There we go. All right, guys. Peace. Check y'all next week.
All right.